Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you guys are having a fantastic holiday season, and for some of you, I really hope that you are enjoying the last couple of days of vacation, and if you have more vacation days, good for you. So today's video is going to be my resolutions video. I did a TBR video last year, and I was thinking of doing that this year, but I just kind of changed my mind because honestly I never really stick to TBRs to begin with. I like having them sometimes just because I am someone who really loves lists, and I love having at least some kind of idea of what I'm going to read in the month, but I usually don't stick to them as much as I would probably like. So I decided that for this year instead I am just going to do a general resolutions video. I wrote down 5 major resolutions of things that I just want to do a bit more of this year, and I'm going to share them with you guys. The first thing is going to be to just expand the types of books I read, and not just for this channel but just for myself. I feel like I need to start expanding my horizons, and of course, realistically speaking here, YA fantasy is still gonna be probably at least like 70% of what I read, but I want to have, you know, a little bit of variety in there. I want to try to read more classics. I feel like since I graduated I kind of have been in a no classics at all type of mode because I was just so done with school, but now I feel like it's time for me to get back in there. My goal is to read at least 3 classics, one of which has to be Pride and Prejudice because it's seriously ridiculous. I love so many adaptations of Pride and Prejudice, and I've never read the book. As well as more contemporary. I don't read a lot of contemporary. I enjoy contemporary, but again, it's not one of those genres that I just kind of jump to. I would really love to read more contemporary. I do have a whole bunch of contemporary books that I'm really looking forward to reading, so hopefully I will be able to read a little bit more of that this year. And then last but not least is kind of realistic / literary fiction. I'm not someone who reads a lot of realistic stuff, as you guys might have guessed, because I just read fantasy. I want to try to read more literary fiction or like more realistic fiction. If you guys have any recommendations, please let me know, and I will hopefully try to read a few more of those within the year as well. Resolution number 2 is I want to read more diverse books. I feel like I didn't do a really good job this year of trying to read more diverse books, and I really want to get better at it and better at looking for these books, and I want to see someone who is described as similarly to like my ethnicity in books that I enjoy, and I want them to be main protagonists. I don't want them to be the funny sidekicks. I don't want them to be throwaway characters. I want them to be complex, and I want them to be heroes. I'm gonna try really hard this year to really be cognizant of this and try to find more books with diversity. So if you guys have any recommendations, again, please let me know. And number 3 kind of ties in with that as well. I want to try to read more critically. Not too much because I'm very much just a pleasure reader. I'm an English major, so obviously I'm very used to analyzing the poop out of a lot of books, and I can do that easily. I can kind of turn it on and off. And usually when I'm reading for fun, I'm able to turn it off for the most part. Reading is a very escapist activity for me, so I feel like sometimes when I really get into a book, even if I do have issues with it, if the story is good, I can kind of bring myself to push them down and keep going. However, I really want to be more critical. Not too critical, but for example, there have been issues with books that I've read this year that have had me raising my eyebrows a little bit, particularly regarding like certain slut shaming stuff about like women, how women are treated in certain books. Stuff like that has happened in some books that are favorites of mine, and I still really like them, but I want to at least be able to acknowledge the problems and talk about these problems that I see with you guys, because as much as I love a book, and I do love a lot of books, if I see a problem with it, I think it is just as important to kind of criticize it as well as just like say all these amazing things about it. It's also important to really see a lot of the shortcomings that the book has or certain portrayals and stuff like that. So I do want to try to read more critically. Not too much. I'm not gonna give you guys like a 20-minute analysis of like the Shatter Me trilogy or something, you know, but I want to try to think of these things and recognize them and be able to point them out to you guys so we can have like more discussions about these sort of issues and things that crop up in YA a lot. Resolution number 4, very, very simple. I just want to read 50 or more books this year. I managed to do that this year. I managed, or last year I guess, sorry. I managed to do that in 2015. 2014 I didn't quite get there. I think I was like 4 books short, maybe around 6, I don't know, something like that. I was a little short last year, and last year, this is weird because I pre-filmed it, so right now it's not even Christmas right now when I'm filming this. I think I managed to read like 57 books this year, which is amazing, and I really hope that I'll be able to do the same next year, this year, last year. You guys know what I mean. Last but not least, this one is a resolution that is particularly pertaining to this channel. I want to try to film more book reviews because I just feel like it's time. Sometimes I have so many thoughts on a book that I want to share with you guys. One example is like the Sweet Evil by Wendy Higgins. When I finished reading that, I had so many conflicted emotions and I wanted so badly to talk about it with someone, but I didn't. And then after, like when I was filming my wrap-up, I just kept thinking that I just really should have done a book talk because there was a lot that I could have talked about, and there was a lot of there was issues that I had with it, but there was also some things that I thought were done really well, and I just wanted to like share my thoughts out, and I didn't. And that has happened with a couple of books that I have read. My goal right now is to have at least 2 to 3 book reviews in a month for now. And I'm gonna try to stick to it because I want to share my thoughts on a lot more books with you guys. And like I said, I do want to start thinking a little bit more critically about certain books, so I think that like by starting to film book reviews a lot more regularly, that would be a really good way for me to do that. Those were my 5 bookish resolutions, and that is it for this video, guys. So I will see you next time, and again, Happy New Year! This video is going to be all about my 2015 favorites.